Nano. Mate, let me tell you, when Papa Steve popped this out of his pint-sized pocket, it was an audible sigh from the audience. I am not like, listen.
This is the new...
Oh, that's how friggin' tiny this thing was. But I can hear a few going, oh, mate, big deal. The caddy, the king of thin, mate. The razor. Oh, the mammy cut you, mate. Hey, give me all your Pokemon cards. No more Metapods, though. This came out a year before. Ooh, yeah, that's thin, isn't it? I only knew one family friend who had one of these who was just a real keener on technology and just sprung the money for it. Metal keypad, it was super cool. This phone is a year newer than this and like get a vibe. What a chunker. But at school, this was the cool phone. We couldn't afford one of these things. I mean, here's the thinnest iPhone ever made. The 6. A phone so thin that they actually bent. You could bend it in a boomerang and throw it at your mates, say. Look at the LG phone and now look at the Razr. Now look at the Nano. Like genuine, it's almost as thin as the top bit of a Razr. Ah, that's so much fun to do. Check out how nice this screen is. Let's see if this even turns on. Look at that frame rate. You can take breaths in between each frame. My first Nano was a 2nd gen, which I loved it to death. And then I had a 3rd gen, which is my favorite Nano of all time. You know, little video player, that was sweet. And I understand, for people who are really keen on listening to music, these were too small, like they didn't have enough storage. But flash storage is no joke how expensive it was. Here's a genuine competitor to the Mini/Nano. Like this total nugget, right? This guy has 512 megabytes in it, but you could put SD cards in here. But in 2004, the first ever 1 gig SD card came out. It was $500. Not even adjusting for inflation. Guess how much this guy had in storage? Can't be more than this. 256 megabytes, because it does have a video camera. No, 5.5 megabytes. And here's this guy with 2 gigs. We're a couple of minutes in, I can already hear you guys going, oh, wait a minute. This is meant to be a smelly apple story. Oh, mate, I came here for the bad smells and you're spraying Calvin Klein everywhere, mate. All I can say is, relax, my friend. You will have your bad smells. But what I just want to quickly state is, like, the Nano was genius. It was amazing. Like, the leapfrog that they did in terms of, like, miniaturization. And unfortunately, to get these amazing features, like a full-size 30-pin dock at the bottom of something this tiny and light, is that they are cursed. And I call it the black spot.
The black spot.
This is something I've only ever seen affect Nanos, and I've got one Nano that's just starting to show signs. The black spot. Browsing on eBay, I see so many Nanos with the black spot, and people say it's because I left it in a hot car and it's warped a little bit and all that sort of thing. No, it is far worse than that. That is the battery expanding and pushing against the display against the glass. A lot of iPods that have this little spot, they work just fine. They'll turn on, they'll do whatever they did. I got this perfect. There was nothing wrong with it at all. And it started the little black spot. And so you think, oh, okay, so when you see that little spot, you just need to get in there, change the battery. Yeah, sure. Never mind how crazy difficult this is, but notice you have to slide all the internals out. So if that battery has expanded inside of there, what are your chances of getting any of the internals out? And worse than that, that means the battery is now unstable, and that means pushing it out, it could tear on any of the metal components in here, and then you've got a fire risk. In order to get them so crazy thin, they had to build them with no tolerances whatsoever. And so the slightest amount of expansion just causes everything to push out and break. This was the iPod where I learnt about the black spot. This is one that I was genuinely using. I was taking it to the gym because, you know, if it broke it, whatever, big deal. This was perfectly working fine. Even the battery held a good charge. And the little spot started, and I hadn't seen this in a little while actually, and it's gotten considerably worse. Oh boy. Yep. Look at this. How terrifying is that? Like, put it this way, this doesn't just sit around because I can't just throw this in the bin. It's genuinely a fire risk because, you know, what if it exploded in the back of the truck and burned down the truck or something? That's so dangerous. So I've just been resorted to keeping it in a jar with a safety label on it. And this guy lives outside on the concrete. In fact, because this guy's just begun as well, you know, you can join them. These are now a science experiment, because every time I look at them, they're getting worse. So hopefully if it does catch fire, it's all contained. But even if you find an uncursed one, let me tell you, you have to solder the batteries. You have to desolder and then resolder. It's outside of my skill range, that's for sure. I mean, I'm not a technician, I'm just a drummer. That's where my relationship with iPods come from. So even if just getting in scares you, there are no clips or connectors. It is a proper, crazy hobbyist project merely just to get one of these running again. For me, you got the real classic crew. You got these guys, which are pretty friggin' weird, to be honest. I mean, that's just the same size screen, except that you hold it at a weird angle. And then you got the freaks, and we'll get to the freaks in a little bit. This guy right here, this is the iPod I used to film that episode where it was all done on this stupid camera. And funny enough, you look and see how dim that video is, that's with the same lighting as you're seeing here. This guy was so bad, I had to pick this glass out, because while I was filming the episode, the battery expanded to the point where I thought the whole thing was gonna shatter and catch fire. And by picking the glass out, the display could lift up and out. It was terrifying, genuine. And that's really the problem with these guys. I don't blame them, because batteries are nightmares anyway. Even with devices where you can put your own batteries in, if you leave them in there, they will leak and corrode the entire board, destroying it. I've had old Nokia batteries expand and push their way out as well. I've seen expanded batteries on these as well, but there's so much room inside of these that it just doesn't cause any issues. It was just the cost of making these so crazy thin. Was there any difference inside of them, which just caused them to bulge and pop, essentially? So many of you guys reach out and say, oh, you should do like a flash mod on one of these. You should do a battery mod on one of these. You know, yeah, do some cool mods with these. Honestly, there's none. Because that's the thing. Even just changing the batteries on these is an epic project. You thought one of these 6th, 7th gen classics is a nightmare to get into? Yeah, well, at least when you get in, the battery change is super easy and you can flash mod it. This has all the terrors of this guy with just none of the rewards. And then you still have a battery you got to solder in yourself. So that's the problem, is that if they don't catch fire on you, they are nightmares to get merely working regularly again. It's the only iPod I consider dangerous in a lot of ways. But that leaves me with the freaks. This Nano is like an iPod Touch and a Shuffle had a baby, to be honest. 'Cause it's a touchscreen with the clip. But I've seen that you can get watch kits for these, and yes, I have ordered one. And then you got the very last Nano, the 7th gen. I mean, look how little material there is around the headphone jack. These are microscopic. And it's got Bluetooth, and they work with AirPods and AirPod Pros. Although some people have complained about low volume. These are way easier to fix. iFixit rates these as a moderate. I haven't seen any black spot issues with these guys, but these are a lot newer. Maybe their day's coming, so you're just gonna have to wait. But I understand, the siren song of nostalgia is just too big to ignore. I get it. I mean, you know, while you're all enjoying your PlayStation, mate, I was enjoying 8 frames a second on my Sega Saturn. I love my Sega Saturn, but I know that it was just a total nugget. No one bought one. Same way that I'm sure some of you are out there nostalgic to this generation of iPod Nano, and I gotta tell you, this thing right here is king nugget of the iPods. I hate the oval shape. I hate this camera placement because it's forcing you to use it like this, which then blocks the camera. And the fact that it nearly caught fire when I was trying to use it to make a video. My recommendation is, if you want a daily driver Nano, find one without the curse of the black spot on it, order the battery, and then have someone do it for you. Again, look it on eBay. There are so many of them with these little black spots on it. It's a proper thing. This is something that Nanos like to do. And these are hard to recommend because these are expensive. Like, these are really holding on to their value. So while I loved my Nano, I don't know, I just can't really recommend them in terms of modding or playing with. I've honestly never seen a 3rd gen get the black spot, but they do enjoy having display issues that only show white. You know, enjoy that. So I'm sorry if I disappointed you this episode. It's just how it is. I mean, I'm disappointed too. I want to put a big thank you out to my patrons, especially these smelly names right here. Stay tuned. Heaps more to come, and I'll see you next time.